Welcome to Trust Your Inner Sense with Joanne Starkman podcast. I'm Joanne Starkman, and I look forward to going on this collaborative journey with you to ignite inspiration, inspire self-discovery, and instill new meaning in life. I'm excited to host a wonderful array of guests, including innovators, creatives, expert coaches, teachers, and much, much more who come together to share their stories. Each episode reveals how they've embraced their inner sense to pursue their passions and shine their unique lights in the world. We'll have thought-provoking discussions and chat about tools that will provide fresh perspectives to help you create a joyful and meaningful life. As founder and chief visionary officer of award-winning hair care brand Inner Sense Organic Beauty, I am also an avid meditator, platform artist, author, and mother of a special needs young adult. Over 20 years ago, I intentionally brought mindfulness to morning routines by authoring each affirmation on Inner Sense Organic Beauty's products, which we call Innerflections. You can check them out on the back of the bottle. It's my goal to have this podcast to be your warm and compassionate companion, whether you're on a journey for deeper meaning, seeking greater joy, or in need of love and healing. Let's continue our journey of self-discovery, self-care, and self-love. I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive into this week's Trust Your Inner Sense episode now. Welcome back, my dear friends. I am so excited for today's guest. It is somebody that's very, very near and dear to my heart that I've been hanging around ever since I was born. Today's guest is my sister, Anna-Thea. She's an author and she's an evolutionary astrologer. She's a certified Venus Star Point practitioner, divine feminine educator, and affectionately known as the Love Card Lady. Her book, Empower Yourself by Loving Your Body, The Woman's Guide to Reclaiming Yourself as Sacred, reflects her deep passion for guiding others towards self-awareness, empowerment, and embracing their sacred journey. Anna-Thea's path began at the Divine Feminine Institute, where she studied astrology, yoga, nutrition, psychology, and more. Later, she trained with Maurice Fernandez to become a certified evolutionary astrologer, and with Ariel Gutman to become a certified Venus Star Point practitioner. Her work blends astrology, the love card system, and holistic practices to help people better understand themselves, especially in love, relationships, and intimacy, and always beginning with the most important relationship in one's life, and that is yourself. So welcome, Anna-Thea. I'm super excited to have you today. This is so special and so fun. And I know we're going to cover a lot of ground. So
I know. I love you, sister. This is we're just have fun and talk about what we're both passionate about, the love cards and astrology.
Exactly. And I know. I love all this inner reflection and inner work that we do. So tell everybody about what evolutionary astrology is, if I can say that. It's a mouthful. And what drew you to it?
Yeah, so evolutionary astrology is Western astrology or tropical astrology. There's Vedic astrology. There's actually now also 13 zodiac sign astrology, which I'm just getting tuned into. But evolutionary astrology is tropical or Western astrology. And it is really about the idea that we are eternal souls and that we are unique and we're not a mistake. And we come in with certain energies. And once we come in with those energies, I mean, the actual chart itself is like a blueprint of your soul's purpose. You know, the imprint where all the planets are when you took your first breath. It has an imprint of your soul and the energies that you came in with and what you're actually working on evolving in this lifetime. And the beauty of evolutionary astrology is you can actually look at this because it tells a story. And, you know, evolution is a very slow process. And so we can have multiple lifetimes. And this evolutionary astrology also believes in past lives. And so we could have multiple lifetimes just working on the same thing over and over and over again. So this blueprint can actually help you understand what it is you really are working on to help you move your own personal evolutionary dial. So
that's amazing. So cool.
What got me into it? I believe in magic, and this world can be very mundane and very physical and boring, and you can really get down. And so the evolutionary astrology, or astrology is just in general, and numerology, taps you into the mystical part of you, taps you into your soul, and taps you into the connection to the cosmos and something greater than yourself. So it makes life so much more fun, personally empowering, helping empower other people. So that's what brought me to evolutionary astrology and other numerology.
Amazing. I know there's nothing wrong with thinking about the stars, right? And the cosmos. It's so
Exactly.
expansive. Well,
Exactly.
let's talk a little bit about the love cards. And if you don't mind explaining a little bit about that, because like I said, you're affectionately known as the love card lady. And I know you blend the love cards with your evolutionary astrology. Could you talk a little bit about the love cards and what those are for my listeners out there?
Yeah, the love cards are based on, it's an ancient system. So this is not something that I
Mm-hmm.
created. It's also called the destiny cards. Robert
Mm-hmm.
Lee Camp was the one that really put it on the map. He's the one that has written the most books and has done the most education. But it's an ancient system. They don't even really know the full origins of it. Ancient Egyptian, Babylonian, I'm not sure. But it's based on numerology, astrology, and the 52 card playing deck. And so what's interesting is you can see what cards you've been dealt and what you're going to be dealt for your whole life from age 0 to 99. And so it just helps support you in your process of understanding, the cards and their meanings and their influences on you every year of your life. And that way you can work with the cards with greater consciousness as opposed to against them.
Yeah, it's so much fun to understand the cards and even just the top line card, for instance, like with my birthday, June 12th, I'm a 5 of diamonds, queen of spades, and you are, Anna-Thea, with your birthday. You just had your birthday
I
just,
did.
what,
I
4
did.
days ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I need to actually look and see what my long range card is. It's a 10 of clubs. I'm the teacher
Yeah.
card this year. So that I'm looking
Oh,
forward to that.
nice.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been a teacher,
But
but
your birth cards are September 25th, you're, 8 of diamonds,
and a
queen
queen.
of heart. Oh, no, queen of hearts, 8 of diamonds.
Yeah. Queen of
What did
hearts.
yeah,
Queen of hearts is my
it
first card.
hearts.
And the second card is 8 of diamonds. Yeah. And you're a
I
queen
love
too.
that,
We're both
yeah.
queens. You're a queen of spades. I'm
I'm
a
a
queen of hearts.
mhm, love it. Yeah, that's fun. So how do these 2 systems complement each other? Like, how do you kinda look at those when you're doing a reading, and how do you blend the 2, or how do you look at the 2? Is there specific things you look at when you're
Yeah. It's interesting. They really,
doing a reading?
yeah, they support each other. And because I've done this deep dive in evolutionary astrology, I always start with the chart. The
Mhm,
evolutionary astrology natal chart. And then, when I do the reading, if I have time, then I back it up, and I always do. I look at the love cards, and the love cards basically just support what I already told them in the astrology. But it's interesting, and or sometimes I'm not getting a full answer to what I'm looking for the client, and so
mhm,
then I look into the love cards, and it's like, oh well, look, that there it is. So they just
mhm.
really support each other.
We'll probably get into this a little bit more, but, like, what are the type of things, like, that people come to you for a reading? Like, what specifically are the things that you most often look at for people?
Yeah, well, it's a lot about relationships and gaining more clarity. They're in a transition in their
Mhm,
life, and they just want to have more. That's it. I'd say the biggest thing is clarity, and it can be clarity in relationship. It can be clarity around their career. So they're just at a turning point in their life. And the other thing they want to know is, what the heck am I here for? What's my soul's path? And
mm,
that will,
mhm.
the astrology will help them understand that as well on a very simple level, I would say. I mean, it doesn't have to be that simple, but we think we're supposed to be doing something so grandiose while we're here in this human body, but just being in the human body and emitting love and loving ourselves is like the biggest job we can do and the best job we can do while we're here. So a lot of my work
Mhm,
is really helping people find peace with who they are and understanding their
mm.
astrology to do that.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. Very well put. Well, what inspired you to dedicate your life to teaching love, relationships, and self-understanding through these tools?
I saw that question. You were going to ask me that. And I had to sit and say, like, oh my God, what, like 2020 really bashed me. I lost faith in humanity, if I'm going to be really completely transparent, because I was ready to conquer the world, make a difference. I was, a pioneer. You got that Niagara Falls onslaught of the reality of what you're up against. And so it goes back to my astrology. I have
Mhm.
a first, there's four quadrants in a natal chart. So I'm first and fourth quadrant heavy. And so the first quadrant is all about self and stabilizing and resourcing yourself. And the fourth quadrant is all about the collective. And so it's like,
Mm.
sharing the good news. So as I went through my own personal development and had powerful, profound, transformative experiences, it was like I always turned around and I like taught it and shared it with everybody. And so what inspired me was just having these own personal experiences that I had to be the messenger for
Yeah,
other
that's
people to
that's
benefit.
wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
Sometimes I
Uh,
do it to my siblings too, and I don't think they want me to be their teacher.
oh, I don't know, Anna. I don't know about that. I think you're pretty inspiring, so I'd give yourself a little bit more credit than that.
Thank you.
Okay, well, let's get back to the love cards. How do love cards reveal our relationship patterns or compatibility with others?
Yeah, that's one of the things that I love when I give a reading is that I can
Mhm,
leave them and gift them a love report, a love card report, a relationship report of two
mhm,
people, the composite report of two people together. And, in astrology, I mean, there's probably a printout that I can give them in the evolutionary astrology, but this is really powerful because depending upon what cards you are, you can have different astrological connections via the destiny cards or the love cards. For example, you can have a moon connection. And you and I talk about this all the time. I wonder what their connections are,
mhm.
or I wonder what my connections are with this person. And it's really humbling when you find out that somebody is Saturn to you. So you can have a Saturn connection, and that means there's learning, and if they're Saturn to you, then you on a soul level brought them in so that you could learn something. And that doesn't mean that they need to tell you what to do. It just means on a soul level, this is a learning experience for you. And you can have Saturn connections both ways. So I can pull up, a composite and I can see Saturn, Saturn, Saturn. And it's like, well, this is a learning relationship. I mean, we learn from all relationships, but what we're looking for is a nice balance of Mars and Venus. Because if you have Venus energy between the two of you, it can mean a past life connection, that you've already worked through stuff, or it can mean high levels of compatibility and harmony. If you have Mars connections, you don't want too many Mars connections because it can create power struggles, but it creates juice, and attraction and
Mm,
stimulation. So each one of
mhm,
these planets, typically, generally, between two people, they have 10 planetary connections. And the report will give little descriptions for each one of those connections. And it's really supportive of the relationship for you to have, you know, like my mom, the very first card, she was or is Pluto to me. So Pluto's not an easy
uh,
energy to deal with, so that was like right up in
mhm,
my face that, it was an opportunity for me to transform, a big
mhm,
transformation. So, asking the audience, what connections do they have? And, do they have moon
mhm.
connections, Saturn connections, Venus, Mars, how much? Uranus connections, that's like a friendship connection for people to be able to just be who they are. And what directions do they go? I've seen composites where it's all of the influences is from one person to the other, and the other person isn't feeling anything from the other person. So that's eye-opening as
Mhm.
well. Have you ever seen that in any of the reports? where the majority is
Oh,
it goes in
plenty.
one direct.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. It's
yeah,
pretty, yep, it's pretty staggering when you see that. I also love the little affirmations at the bottom of the report where it gives you like an
yes.
affirmation towards for yourself towards the other person. And those I think those are really helpful once you realize those relational connections, and it just makes it easier to navigate or understand a relationship, and especially when it's like a close relationship
Yeah.
or a difficult relationship. For sure, it just gives a little more clarity, and then you can kind of let yourself off the hook and like, oh my god, there's so much Saturn, they're my teacher. Okay, no wonder it triggers me when, something bubbles up, and then you can just be like, "Okay, that's right. I'm supposed to be learning from them." So,
Have a lot
yeah, I
more
love those reports.
understanding.
Well, let's Oh, absolutely. Let's jump over to astrology for a minute. There's certain astrological signs or placements that resonate more strongly, or are there certain astrological signs or placements um that are more strongly connected to the love cards?
Yeah. And so this is just kind of like just observation, but basically it kind of is the connection between numerology and astrology. For example, the 52 card playing deck, you've got numbers. So the
Mhm.
ones are aces. So it's an ace. That's an Aries energy, you know, because
Okay.
aces are singular. And we've never really discussed this
Mhm.
before, have we? You and I. I,
Uh,
I don't know.
not necessarily, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah. I'm going to jump to fours. Fours are more of a Taurus energy. Four is stability. Taurus loves stability and comfy. Just being comfy.
Mhm.
Four can also be a Cancer energy, though, too, because of that stability. Cancer is that home energy, right? I love telling
Mm,
people that
mhm.
fives are Sagittarius. Did you know that your five is a Sagittarian energy?
I don't know, maybe I knew that, but
Yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah.
resonates with me
You,
for sure.
you collect no dust under your feet. That's for sure. Sixes are Libra energies. Sevens are like a spiritual energy, so that would be a Pisces energy, and like eight is a Scorpio energy. Eight's a power number, and so Scorpio is about power or transformation.
Mm,
Yeah, like the kings can be
mhm.
Leo energy, the queens can be Moon and Venus energy, and the jacks can be Gemini energy. So that kind of gives you
Oh,
a
interesting.
little bit of a
Uh-huh.
rundown. Um, yeah.
Well, and I think I wanna mention on your website, I think if people go to your website, they can find out what card they are, correct?
Totally. I have a really great page that's simple to read. If you just take time to look through that page, you're going to get a wealth of information about the system, but you're not only going to have a lot of fun doing it because you can look at, you know, everyone has a first karma card and a second karma card. And so you want to know your karma
Mhm,
people because your first karma card,
mhm,
you owe them. And it's very humbling.
mhm,
And the second karma card, they owe you, but you can trigger them. So find
uh-huh,
out, you can go to that page and you can find out, what your card is. You can learn about what each number symbolizes, what each suit symbolizes. And then you can look at your karmic connections. You can see what the mystical family of seven is. The other thing is that I put on there just recently, I added, if you go all the way down to the bottom, I added two charts. One is so that you can see both the cards that you are. Scorpio has three cards. Everybody else has two, except for Leo has one. So
mhm.
the down at the bottom, you get the deeper aspect of this system of looking at both, how many cards you have. And then the other one I have is that chart, which is this chart right here, which I know that some of our viewers can't see, but basically it's the mundane spread. And then you can see which planetary influences your card is. So, for example, me as a Queen of Hearts, I'm a double Neptune. Let's see what you
Mhm.
are, Joanne. Five of diamonds. You're a Neptune and a Saturn, which is interesting.
Mm,
Did you know?
interesting.
Did you know
Yeah.
you're a Neptune? And you know what that is? Neptune is no systems and structures. It's just we're all connected and we're just going with the flow. And Saturn is systems and structures and organization. Well, almost like your nodal axis, Pisces, Virgo.
Well, and it also feels a little bit like Gemini too, like the two different faces of Gemini.
Yes,
right?
yes,
You
yeah.
know, the idea that like there's like a duality or
Oh,
something. So
right,
that's
right.
interesting. Yeah, no, there's a lot of information on your website for sure. And I know that you'll, you know, if people choose to have readings with you, you can get into all of this. You have such a wealth of knowledge. There's one thing that I just want to hop to really quick, you know, kind of sandwich it in with the love cards. I know it's something that you've been really excited about talking
Oh, yeah.
about lately. Is what is it? Three Eye Atlas, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about that and as far as like what that is astrologically speaking and what people could glean from that or maybe want to know about that.
It is happening now. And if you miss the bliss, then, that's why I'm the messenger of this. This is a three-eye atlas, three-eye
Mhm.
interstellar atlas. And atlas was the system, the observatory system or network of observatories that discovered it. And it was first in Chile discovered. And then there's over 224 observatories, I think. I'm not sure that are looking at it, and scientists are looking at it. NASA discovered it, Hubble telescope, and the Webb telescope. Now, I'm not an astronomer or a scientist by any means, but it was our nephew that sent me the video on it, and I just totally responded to it. So this is it's very anomalous. It's not, they don't really know, but they've kind of categorized it as a comet, but it's faster, it's bigger, and it's barreling through our solar system. So it's the third ever recorded interstellar. So it's coming outside of our solar system. And so imagine like a lake. The solar system's a lake. There's movement and stuff going on, but it's relatively quiet. And this very fast, high speed boat from another world, a higher consciousness, more because it's overcoming the gravitational pull of the sun, and it's barreling through the lake, and it's going to leave a wake of consciousness. At least this is what I'm getting. There's all kinds of theories
Mhm.
on it and whatnot. And now there's the Swan comet that's coming in as well. This is creating a lot of solar flares. And so our biological beings are having to actually, so if you're feeling tired lately, rest, because our biological being is having to process and digest this higher frequency that we're being, that's being thrown at us, so to speak. But basically, it was discovered by the Atlas system on July 1st. It's going, there's a lot of uniqueness about it, but one of the things it's doing is it's very parallel to our ecliptic, which is the plane that all the planets are orbiting around the sun. And so that's another very unique thing. And so even though it's not astrological, so to speak, I can't see how it's not creating an astrological effect. So I looked at it with my chart, and it is actually hitting every single aspect of my chart when it comes close to Mars, when it's closest to the Earth, and then Venus, and then Jupiter. Because basically, what it's going to do is it's October the 3rd, it's going to be closest to Mars. And then there's probes at Mars that are going to be able to get a better look at it. Because we're still like, what is this, And still there's unanswered questions. Then I think on the 29th, it's going to be closest to the sun. So October is going to be a big month. And then exactly a month later, it's going to be, so that was October the 3rd, then October the 29th, closest to Earth. And then November the 3rd is going to be closest to Venus. And then it's going to keep going. And March 16th, it'll be closest to Jupiter and then out. And so there's so much to say about that. But if you go to my YouTube channel, I've already done 2 videos on it. And I'm really looking at the astrological, evolutionary, emotional, spiritual implications of this thing that is barreling through our solar system to want to give us, I think, higher frequency. But there was something else that I wanted to say about that, because I get really, where is it affecting any places in your chart? That would be important to really know. The first one is going to be, what's happening at 7 degrees Scorpio? And what's interesting is
Mm,
astrologers aren't really talking about this, but it has hit me so
mhm.
strong that I just kind of have to stand out there outside the box and just give my message, you know?
No, that's awesome. I mean, I think you talked about how it's kinda hitting your chart pretty profoundly, so it's a little bit like no wonder you're talking about it,
So
right?
excited about it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a
But I mean, it's hitting your chart. Yeah, it's hitting your chart specifically in a certain way.
Yeah, and it can be hitting other people,
Mhm.
they don't you don't know what you don't know, and this is a
Oh, right.
consciousness that's coming into our time. It's just a visitor for a very short period, and so we can't get the benefit of something that we're not aware of, and so that's
Mhm.
for me to make people aware of it, and then to question, like, where are these things in your natal chart? Are they making any
Mhm.
touches? It's not astrological, but I see it as how can it not be? It's going to come through
Mhm.
the ecliptic, and it's going to highlight Mars. Then it's going to communicate with Earth. Then it's going to highlight Venus, and then it's going to go out through Jupiter. And so I see it like for a metaphor. It's like this thing coming in saying, okay. I mean, there's many different ways to look at it, but it's Mars, Earth, Venus, Jupiter. And so Mars is the masculine, Earth is where we live, Venus is the feminine. This is a masculine feminine dimension that we're in. And then Jupiter, as it leaves it, say, okay, I gave it to you guys. Good luck. I hope you got the message and got the consciousness. I hope I helped.
R
But the other thing that's interesting is that it's coming, they think, from the Sagittarius and the galactic center. And Jupiter is
Mm.
right out. My Jupiter is right outside the galactic center.
Hmm.
So my Jupiter is was totally stimulated. This could be my family members that are coming through. I mean, that sounds really far out, but that's we don't know what we don't
Well,
know.
I mean, but Jupiter is a benevolent planet, right? If I understand correctly, Jupiter is a
Absolutely.
blessing. It's like something that gives us gifts and wisdom and talents and can bestow blessings on us. So
Well, to get the
that's nice
picture
to
of
think about.
to get the picture of Jupiter, you can fit 1,000 to 1,300 Earths inside Jupiter. So Jupiter just
Mhm.
magnifies everything. And so, yes, we get the
Mhm.
blessings, but sometimes we have to go through big things to get it is a benevolent for sure. And
Yeah.
so I'm very optimistic about it. And,
Yeah.
you know, I want everyone to
No,
know,
that's exciting.
I want everyone to
It's
know.
fun to think about.
Yeah.
Absolutely, as they should. These are fun things. And how I mean, I'm just thinking like, like you talk about resting or like, they talk about solar flares making people tired and like what are some other, you know, occurrences are you kind of projecting that could happen with this?
Well, I think a healing between the masculine and the feminine. I think
Okay.
the other thing is
Mhm.
because it's first going to, and this is tropical astrology. This is not Vedic. This is
Mhm.
not 13 sign astrology. This is tropical. And that's a whole other
Mhm.
discussion, but we're looking at it from the perspective of tropical astrology, which works. It's not where they actually are in the constellation, but um, imagine a higher frequency coming in to the masculine planet in our solar system and saying, hey, dude, come on, show up, wake up, expand yourself. Boom. Now it could be that way,
Yeah.
really healing the patriarchy, the remnants of the patriarchy,
Mhm.
right? So it could be that way. But the other
Mhm.
way around, it could be, Mars is the warrior and it's going to be in Scorpio. So it's standing there as a guardian to the solar system saying, hey, Three Eye Atlas, what are you doing here? You better have good intentions. And then Three Eye Atlas is going, yes, I do. Boom. I don't know. I mean, my imagination goes wild with this. But I think that,
Yeah.
people getting more connected to their bodies because our bodies are
Mm. Mhm.
evolving and
Mhm.
changing to a higher
Mhm.
frequency. And it's a
Mhm.
great time to diet. simply said, eat
Mhm.
less because it's supporting you on this lighter frequency.
Mhm.
And so changing your relationship with your body from now until March 16th would be a,
Mhm.
great opportunity. I don't know if I answered your question on that.
No, that's perfect. Yeah. Well, so for those who want to dive deeper, like where can they learn? We already talked about your website, maybe talk about that a little bit more, but where can people find you? And if they want to dive a little deeper, like what would you say to those people?
Yeah, so yeah, there's going to be links in the show notes. But Anna-Thea.org is
Mhm.
ANNATHEA.org is my website. There's lots of free resources. My emphasis is around love and relationship. Don't ask me what stocks to buy or where to live on the planet. Just I can give you more clarity in your life purpose and your relationships and things like that. But go have some
Or
fun.
if you don't have a relationship too,
Oh my
right?
God. Yes,
The
absolutely. So if you don't have a relationship, I have all the tricks. I know all the inside secrets to bring in your beloved. Now, once you bring your beloved in, you're going to have an assignment, let me tell you, because these are deep, deep karmic connections that we're here. This is a schoolroom of learning to love. But anathea.org/love card, which should be below. You'll have so much fun on that page, learning your love card, learning your karma cards, learning your karmic connections with others. And then if you put my YouTube channel, you can find out more about what I've been talking about with 3i Atlas. I also do things with Venus every month. And then what was the other one? Oh, yeah, this is the other one I wanted to mention. We talked about the relationship connection, the love card composite report. You can actually just go right to my website, anathea.org/products, but you can also get it from the home page. A love card composite report, I think is what it says. And you can order a report of you and somebody else. So that's available for you if you're real curious. If I've made you so curious that you can go right to my website and start digging
and
in.
all people need is the birth date, right? The name
Right.
and the birth date.
They don't even need time,
Yeah.
city. It's month, day,
You
year.
don't
Yeah.
really super, super easy. Well, if you could leave our listeners with one love centered affirmation today, what would that be?
I always tell everybody, and was given to me and it really helped me. And I just kept it deep in my heart because that's where I put it, is when you are feeling, like you're beating yourself up or you're up in your head and those records are going over and over again. You do pattern interrupt. You put your hands on your heart and you say, honey, or you can say your name. I tell people to say it 3 times. You are perfect, whole, and complete, just the way you are. I love you. I love you. I love you. I'm here for you. And that just quells that little girl or boy inside that's just having a conniption fit. It really works. But I want to give you this other one. I like this other one. Be yourself. Everyone else is taken.
That's a great one too. Well, thank you so much for being here, sister. I really appreciate you.
I really appreciate you too. You're the sparkle in our family.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. Oh, well, thanks for sharing your wisdom, your light, and your love with us today. Friends, if you're feeling called to explore your own love card or dive deeper into evolutionary astrology, check out Anna-Thea's offerings and begin your own or continue on your own journey of self discovery. And of course, until next time, the greatest love story begins with the love you cultivate with yourself. So take Anna-Thea's affirmation with you and remember, until next time, always trust your inner sense. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode, dear friends. I would be thrilled to hear which part resonated with you the most. Your reflections on today's topic and how it sparked action in your life mean a lot to me. Feel free to share your thoughts at podcasts@innersensebeauty.com or leave a review. I look forward to you coming back next week to explore another exciting topic together. If you'd like to dive deeper, be sure to check out the show notes for some valuable links. Until we meet again, take good care of yourself. Know that you are surrounded by love and always trust your inner sense. Wishing you all the best, friends.